Hello all, Old Geek here, and this is my review of Chaosium's new solo adventure, Alone Against the Static, written by B.W. Holland. It was released just before Christmas, and it's available in either PDF or hardback form, and if you buy the hardback directly from Chaosium, you also receive a copy of the PDF. Alone Against the Static is Chaosium's fifth solo adventure product for Call of Cthulhu, and much like the other four is presented in the form of a choose-your-own adventure using adapted 7th edition Call of Cthulhu rules. The physical version is a 100-page hardback book, and the adventure consists of 371 linked entries of boxed text. If you have not played a choose-your-own adventure before, this is how they work. You typically read a section of text, and then you are given a series of options. You make your choice, and then you flip to the relevant paragraph indicated by the book, and so on. There are various skill checks and combats along the way, and if you are lucky, and also if you make the right choices, then you succeed in your quest. But more often than not, you'll fail. And in this adventure, the failures I've experienced so far have been suitably horrible, as they should be. Okay, before I go any further, here's your spoiler warning. I'll try to avoid giving away anything too specific though, but there might be a few gentle spoilers in here. Charlie and Alex are a couple whose relationship is starting to fracture. They decide to take a short holiday in a secluded cabin in the Black Hills of South Dakota, just the two of them, to allow them to relax, spend quality time together, and talk through their issues with a view to making a decision on their future. But that future is not what either of them were expecting. This is Call of Cthulhu after all. A series of freakish occurrences result in the couple fighting for their lives, not just their relationship. At the very start of the adventure, the reader gets the choice of playing either Charlie or Alex, with this decision affecting the manner in which the adventure begins and ends. The central portion, the main body of the adventure, is the same for both of the characters, though of course it is likely to play a little differently in terms of outcomes, as each character has a differing skill set. When I began my first playthrough, I did initially wonder if the storyline was based around relationship counselling, Cthulhu style of course, but those fears were quickly allayed as the story moved beyond the initial scenes in the cabin. There are some clear nods to horror tropes throughout. Electrical devices with minds of their own, mysterious videotapes, Blair Witch Project, people behaving strangely, with a constant undercurrent alluding to a greater power driving it all. And though this might sound all a little predictable, it manages to both be atmospheric and engaging, something that can often be difficult to achieve with a choose-your-own-adventure book. Alone Against the Static strikes a solid balance between mystery and mechanics, assisted by its log sheet mechanic that keeps track of objects and occurrences in a smooth and unobtrusive manner. The pace of the storyline is strong too. As I've already mentioned, it begins with the reader wondering if this is actually some form of romantic drama. The couple bicker, and the outcomes of those exchanges have a knock-on effect on the character's mindset. But this tone changes as the seeds of the mystery are dripped in bit by bit, and the reader is soon swept up in a rollicking good ride, all culminating in a fairly shocking finale. Or should I say finales, because there is an interesting selection of endings, most utter disaster or some degree of Pyrrhic victory, and aspects of the mystery aren't fully explained. Thus the reader is left guessing to some degree, which is as it should be in a Lovecraft-inspired work. Lots of positivity so far then. Time to put a stop to that. I know hardcover books are expensive nowadays, but the cover price for Alone Against the Static is extortionate. I'm not sure why Chaosium chose the hardcover route. Perhaps it was somewhat down to the issues that Alone Against the Dark had with its binding. But this book cost me the best part of £30, including postage. That's too much for a choose-your-own-adventure product, especially as the storyline is shorter than your average fighting fantasy paperback. Yes, there's plenty of replay potential, 2 characters, multiple endings, but I will admit I felt cheated when the book turned up and I saw just how thin it was. Artwork is stylistically consistent, and there are some images I like a lot, but there are others that feel clumsy and rushed. Thankfully, the overall presentation is not too badly affected, and the surface impression is one of a very professional product, but there are some issues with the text. The first of which is unforgivable, because it happens right at the very start, when you choose which character to play. You tick the relevant box on the log sheet. If you pick Alex, it tells you to tick Alex. If you pick Charlie, the text forgets to tell you. Of course, it's not a problem once you are aware that that instruction is missing, but I wonder how many people got confused by it. A little later on, a key knife appears to go missing if you use it in a fight, but the text never mentions you losing it. It's as if it disappears into thin air. You find a knife. If you choose to use it in a combat, then later on it simply asks you, did you use the knife in the combat? If so, you haven't got it anymore. It doesn't tell you where it went. It doesn't tell you why. It says you haven't got it anymore. You can't use it now. And you lose as a result. But the main issue with the writing might sadly prove to be a controversial one. The use of gender-neutral language throughout when referring to either Charlie or Alex. Gender-neutral language is fine when the subject is not clearly defined, or if their gender is irrelevant, and some attempt has been made to make that so in Alone Against the Static, but it's a token attempt at best. The artwork more than hints at Charlie and Alex being a heterosexual couple. There are several moments in the story that play into stereotypes, none more so than when Charlie exits the bathroom and makes a very blokey and clumsy poo joke. Thus the language used when referring to the 2 characters just does not mesh with the images projected by the story itself. While this does not detract from the main body of the book, the generic section when the reader is playing one character exploring the cabin and the woods, the sections where the 2 characters are together read extremely awkwardly. One commenter said that it feels like the text was handed to a sensitivity reader who simply changed any gendered language that is used to a gender-neutral alternative. And I agree with that statement. Ultimately though, despite these issues, Alone Against the Static is a lot of fun. It's a genuinely atmospheric mystery. The story ebbs and flows at the right pace, and the endings are really well done. But sadly, I can't truly recommend it because of the extortionate price tag. And thus from me it gets 6 out of 10. Well, I do hope you've enjoyed this video from me, the Old Geek. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed it, click like, maybe subscribe, and maybe come and join us on the Discord where we play games, including Call of Cthulhu. See ya.